Hi everyone, my name is Denis Prue, and today I want to show you the cloud-based network verification portal called CNV. CNV does health check, capacity check, and scalability check of your network. You want to run this proactively on your network to baseline it and to see the differences per week on your network as things are changing, evolving, and so on. So I'll give you a demo. Basically, the portal is easy. It's subscription based. So you're logging HTTPS secure to Nokia data center. You prompt with a login page. We type in your Nokia, your company user login, so your username and password, and this will get authenticated and give you access to scope and span of the portal. So I'm logging in right now, and the portal is very simple. It basically has four things on the portal, and the super user sees those four things. But as a guest user, you may not only have maybe my reports available to you. So the first thing you would do is in my user details, you create a username and you would put in your email address because when you create a report, it will send you the report through your email. You can also send the report to other people in your organization so they can get the report via email. You can change your password, edit, so on your user account. And in this case here, the super user has given me authority to be able to manage capacity check report, health check report, and scaling report check on the network and also the optical one. There's three reports for IP SROS and there's one for the optical 1830 switches family. So this is pretty simple. The setup of the user accounts. As a super user, there's two things you would do to start. You go to the data, download a collection of scripts. What it does there is sends shows to you in the portal what scripts are available for you to download on your jump server in your NOC. The jump server can be a Linux box or it can be the NSP platform. In this case here, that I have already downloaded those four scripts to my Linux server. They're at version 1.4. But if I log into the portal and I give you free reports, free upgrades, and so on, this will get bumped up to 1.5, and when you're running in the portal, it'll tell you that 1.5 is now available. You should download those scripts and you get things for free. So once these scripts are downloaded, they're going to be downloaded to a Linux box in your NOC, and you will run these scripts in batch control in your Linux box. It will go to the IP management address of the nodes and collect the data via CLI. Once the data is collected, it is zipped into a zip file which is encrypted with IES 256 encryption. Now, the zip file will not show into this portal unless you do an upload new audit file. So the super user or the person in charge of this would upload the new audit file into the portal for everyone to be able to access the data. Now I've already uploaded these files, so they show up here. So you can always collapse the screen. You can always like shrink the font to see more. You can see these are not shared, so these are private to me, my organization. And if you want to share the data, the user of that data will have to make that available within your organization. Let's go back here to, so once the data is there, then you basically you can run reports. So if I go to my reports, there would be no reports created. I have some already created here on the portal, but for you, you would go create a report and you would pick the type of report you want to create. When you create a report, it's very simple. You click on it, you give it a name, and you would pick the file that you want to use as the data file. And they're shown here with the scope and span. At the bottom of the screen, you select one of those and you say create report. I won't create any because they're already created on my system here, so I'll just use the ones previously created. So I go to my reports. These are the one I already created. As you can see, I have an optical health check done report for the 1830 family, the 481632 shelf. For the SROS, I got the health check, capacity check, and scaling check. Just to let you know, the health check report, we've put in that report the best practices of professional service. So basically, we've coded what professional service usually check when we do health check to our customers' network. Let me open that report. So when you call us as professional service, we have a checklist of things that we check in the network for the customer. And what we try to do here is automate that. So you don't need to call us, you just run the report. So you did a network verification IP health check report. It will show you an HTML file. You can also save it PDF or RTF. You can hide the screen maybe to see a bit more data here, but let me zoom in and you can see it did quite a bit of stuff as auditing the network with best practices. If I come here, there's also always an executive summary. So basically it tells you how many things it looked at, the number of nodes, cards, and all that. It highlights the colors so that it's easy to identify the problems. You want to address the orange ones. If you come to this table here, you can see it lists all the issues in the network, the top 20 ones, but it will also highlight the ones you should be addressing first, the one in orange. So if I look here, it says one MDA are in the fail state, fix or replace the MDAs. If you click on the section, then you hyper jump to that section, there will be a table, it'll tell you the recommendation. So for health check, let's take this one here. Two cards are in support discontinued, replaced with cards which have full technical support. If I go to 5.1 section, it describes what it means, the end of support acronyms, FD, MD, and all that stuff. Tells you when it is, the end support, and then it also tells you this is the part numbers found in your network, the description, and information if you want to buy a new card, it would be this one, and you want to address what's in orange. So this is very valuable. Throughout the reports, you always see a table. You always see a recommendation at the bottom of the table. Here it says it is recommended to replace the cards where support is discontinued. So basically, that kind of shows you the idea of the report of the audit. Every section has a description of what it means, has a table of the colors, and tells you what you need to do on what device, what node, chassis type. So that's the health check one. I'm not going to go through all the details of it, but basically, if you did go to environment, it tells you, oh, this is all good. All the temperatures of the cards are good. Nothing you need to do here because it's all blue. If one of these box would be yellow or orange, you should probably address the temperature of those cards that get overheating. Here we got some that has issues. So it will highlight which cards, which node has the highest temperatures, and you can address the network. So when you think about it, what you're doing is you're looking at your network, you're doing health checks on it every week, and you're on top of your business, how to fix things before things goes really bad in your network. So I want to go back now to another report. Let's do the capacity one. So the health check one is all best practices from professional service, but the capacity one is a bit more. So we put the professional service best practices plus we have an internal tool that we use. And this tool, we feed it data and it comes up with the bandwidth problems in your network as interfaces and trunks and all that, where packets are getting dropped. I'm going to open this report. Right now, it's getting the report that was already generated from the data center, and it's going to put it in HTML format in my portal. So let's bring the report up. So now we've gotten the capacity check report. Same idea. So this report comes up HTML, and we want to go to the execution summary, figure out what's going on. It will tell you how data is collected and also the methodology used, the interface utilization, the lag imbalance, and the queue drops. So we go to executive summary. There's 512 nodes that looked at here, and then it tells you the summary of the findings. So the 410 we should look at. Two network ports are above 90% utilization. Provide more bandwidth on those ports. Here it says three non-ports are above 9% utilization, so investigate these ports and provide more bandwidth if required. One lag have ports with greater than 50% utilization, so check those lag on the hashing options. And then it has 248 investigate these ports. So what you do is you would click on that section and then you end up it'll tell you how it calculated all this. It will tell you the interface peak average, all the ones that are above IDs, the max fives on those interfaces, and then it'll display the ones you should be looking at, right? And then it has a table that shows all the data for those interfaces it collected. And if you want to go into more detail, it has also the router interface, the specific router interface where they're dropping packets. It will list those in the report. So the top five right here. And then if you have lag imbalance, it describes how we're looking at this. So basically, if one interface in the lag is passing more traffic than the other one, then you have an imbalance and you need a hashing algorithm for that. So I'll tell you which one it is. This one here is 95% utilized and shows you the lags, the top ID5s in there in that and gives you the information. So you know right away where you need to address issues in your network. This was the capacity one. And let me look at the next one, which is the scaling report. The scaling report, we know the scaling limits of our SROS IP nodes and optics. In this case here, we look at all the nodes in your network, and we're going to look at all the parameters for routing, including all the routing protocols, interfaces, the services, and so on. And we know the scaling limit of each version of that OS. So let me just look, let's go introduction, it shows you. This is the report, data collection, and it'll tell you we did 3,736 nodes. We look at the scaling limits of that. So what are the problems? So we come to always go to the summary of findings. These are just information based, the blue, so you're okay. The ones that are orange and yellow, you should probably start watching. So you want to fix the orange ones. It says the number of sensitivity scaling parameters would have exceeded the major threshold are nine of them, and there's quite a bit of SARs. So if we go to that section 411, it's going to tell you like the finding of the summary, the colors, what it means, all that. The one you should address, baselining. OSPF parameters are coming into the yellow range. You should probably look at that too. And you look at 750 scalability analysis, it'll tell you there's some major things you should look at there for the number of lags. And it'll tell you this table here, you're running SR12 version 13. It has a maximum OSPF interface per system of 1000. We have a newer version out already. The latest version supports 3000. You're actually running in your network 765, so you're good. You're only 76% there, so it's yellow. If you ever get to 1000, this will go orange, and then you should probably get the new release that supports 3000. Or if we don't support it, let's say it's 250, 250 and you're orange, you probably need to address a new design for that to not scale, to be able to scale to the limit. So this is an example of the scaling one. It actually goes, there's a lot of tables, a lot of limits. It will tell you all of them. How much are they the limit for that version? Where are you at? How much you're using? If it's all blue, you're all good. So basically you run this, I would run this like often so that you know that you're not exceeding. Maybe you're not adding Nokia device, maybe you're adding third-party device that affects the pairing of these tables, right? So just to show you quickly, I mean, there's a lot of set table. I'm not going to go through all that. So I covered the three reports that are important for the IP. So the health, capacity, and scaling. There's the optical one. The optical one is based on the 1830. It's a different report. It looks 1830. So for the optical, we'll look at different information for the customer. And if we look at the exact summary, there's 12 nodes, optical nodes here, and the summary of findings tells you here the colors and one's critical. 27 critical have generated, so we go to that section. There's major events on that optical device here that we should look. There's some loss of signaling and all that. So you go, same idea as the IP, you go to this report and you look at the data for the health check. I want to cover, now that you've created all these reports, you can also compare or trend. If I compare, you want to compare the report 1 week. So I generate a report 1 week, the second week I generate another report, and I can compare them, compare the data. So it tell you you created this report, now you created this report, and now I compare the data from them. So the first report I had all these issues. Let's say I would have fixed them, this would all be cleared, and then it would show you that the problems have gone away. In this case here, it's my lab, so the problems are still all there. But in your case, it'd be a bit different. And this is the comparison report, and there's a trending report. If trending, you can put many reports. Trending, I think, is nice when you're actually going converging the network or going to 5G, where you're adding a lot of bandwidth to the network, new nodes. It will tell you what's happening in the network as a view of your network. So if we come here, you get a network evolution. So you can add the reports as you want. It will shows you how many new nodes are being brought up in your network, how many cards, interface, and ports, and shows you kind of a trending on that. It has different types of training at the bottom. Here it's a lab, so it's not very useful. I think it's for the data. So basically, I finished the demo. What I want you to keep in mind for this is that we put in the professional service knowledge into the application, the best practices. We put in internal tools for capacity to be able to identify where there's problems in your network. And we made it subscription based. So basically, you do not need to hire professional service. You can basically run this as often as you want once you have a subscription license for it. Thank you very much.